for this one is on page 568. It's on, or section 17.8. It's on pricing. Okay, because obviously if I'm going to sell custom-made boxes for my speakers, I'm going to have to know what kind of price to make them. Right, Dennis?
Yep.
Okay. You must sell or set the selling prices of your products high enough to cover expenses and you make a profit. You may determine the selling price of an item by estimating the net profit for each of the several possible selling prices, and then by choosing the selling price that will result in the highest profit. In manufacturing, the cost per item varies with the number of manufactured and ultimately sold. Often the higher selling price of an item, the fewer items that will be sold. And then the formula I give you for this is possible net profit is going to be equal to the selling price per unit minus total cost per unit multiplied by the estimated unit sales. Okay? So, what that means is I'm going to take whatever I'm going to sell the price for, or sell the thing for. So if I'm going to sell custom boxes for my speakers, okay, if I sell them for, I don't know, Dennis, I don't even know how much they go for.
Boxes?
Yeah.
A box of $30 to
$30 or $40? Okay. So then what will happen is, if I said $40, for instance, and the cost of lumber for that is maybe $10. Okay? Just because plywood and screws and stuff like that you're going to need. Okay, so I'm going to sell it for 40. My materials are 10, so that way that's $30. And then how many boxes would you sell? Let's say we sold 50. Okay, I don't know how many you would sell in like a month or whatever like that. But then you would take the 30 times the 50. Okay, that's how this is going to work out. So if you look at number 1 on the top of page 569, it says find the possible net profit for each selling price. Okay, and they give you 2 selling prices. So how many different ones are you going to have for number 1? If they give you 2 different ones. 2, good. It says the selling price per unit was $3 for the first one. You have estimated unit sales, and you have fixed costs of $200,000. Fixed cost per unit is $1. Variable cost per unit is 5 cents. The total cost per unit is $1.05. So again, the thing that I'm more interested in is $1.05. Now, just so that you guys do know that how they got the total cost per unit is they took the fixed cost plus the variable cost. Okay? So in Dennis's situation, lumber might change. Depends on how much they have. Or the price of screws might change. So that might be a variable thing. But a lot of times those are kind of set deals. So it'll be more of your fixed costs. But that's what they're doing. Okay? So if I have $1.05, $1.05 is my total cost. What's $3 minus $1.05? $1.95. Now it says from there, I'm going to multiply that number by how many I project to sell. How many did it say I'm going to sell for those? So it's $1.95 times 200,000. $3,900?
Yeah, there are 39. Put a 0, 3 more zeros.
Okay, so a 3,9, a 0, and 3 more zeros. So that's 390,000.
Yeah, I said that first.
No, you didn't. That's okay, Tristan. Okay? As long as we got the right number listed. All right, that's the first one. The second one, we're selling it for $4.50. But our cost for that one's $1.38. What's $4.50 minus $1.38? $3.12. And we're estimated at selling 150,000 of those, whatever those happen to be. So what's my 468,000. Okay? That's number one. Both of those answers right there that I put either circled or in a box, those are both of your answers. Okay? That's number one. And then it says, which selling price yields the greatest possible profit? So which one made you more money? The second one. Right. So what's that selling price? $4.50. Okay? That's number two. That's what you had to do for that one, is just tell me which one gave me the better price. If I'm going to sell it for $1.50 more, but I'm going to make that much more, $78,000 more dollars, it's probably worth it, right? Okay? Or, as we've learned in other past assignments, if we set the price at $4.50 and it doesn't sell, what can we do? We can mark it down, right? We can do markdown rates as long as it's not going to get below $1.38. What would happen if it got below $1.38? You're losing money, right? Your profit margin's gone. All right. That was number one and number two. If you look on page 569, there's only 3 through 7. Now, to help you get started on number 6, for instance, 3 through 6, just so that you guys know, is just like number 7. It's just 7 isn't broken into all those different parts. It's just listing all the different pieces. 3 through 6, and then number 7 are almost the exact same thing. Just it's not broken into little pieces.
They're just making you find everything.
Right. Okay. So for number 6, part A, when it says fixed costs per unit, what you have to do for that is you have to take your fixed costs, so 120,000, and divide it by how many units you're going to have. What's that going to be? Huh? 20? So that's part A for number 6. Then it says total cost per unit for part B, and it says the variable cost per unit were $21. So this one was part A. Part B, what's 20 plus 21?
41.
41. Yay. Then as far as a possible net profit on number 6, you are going to sell your creation for $85. You have to subtract out your costs, and then you're going to times it by how many you expect to sell. So for instance, if I made, right now this weekend, I think I'm going to make a captain's bed for my son. So if I sold or had $85 was the price on those, which is really cheap, and I don't think I'd ever sell it for that low. And I had $41 worth of material, and I ended up selling 6,000 of them. How much would I make?
$264,000.
And that's part C. Okay? Now, obviously, if I made that captain's bed or actually did that, which I'm going to do this weekend or start doing it, I don't think I'd ever sell it for $85 when they go for sometimes $500 or higher. Okay? So, what do you think? Does that make sense? Okay. So, on page 569,
Here's 7.